But we are now going to get in game on Heavy Rain for our first match of the year. And again, shout out to our sponsors, ZowieGear.com, adding a bunch of products to the prize pool for the SC2 Improved Team League Season 2. Of course, the overall prize pool, €250 plus 5 Zowie Mikos plus 5 Zowie PTF mousepads. Alright guys, well it's time to get into our first broadcasters match of the first division here of the Season 2. In the lower right hand corner, we're going to be seeing the red Zerg player from Cascade, it's Memory Freak. And in the upper left hand corner, the green Zerg player representing MaxFlo, it's going to be Nogiveza. Alright, well, you know, I've done my research, and when I say I've done my research, I remember when these two teams played in Season 1. They were actually both in Group A in the first season, the same group, which means they did play against each other. MaxFlo in Season 1, they didn't actually make it to the playoffs. Group A was a monster of a group. Cascade, Mind Sanity, Love Your Girlfriend with the top 3. MaxFlo were 4th, followed by Carnage and then Punchline. It was such a tough group, and MaxFlo, they just missed out on that playoff spot. They did go up against Cascade. I think it was fairly early on, in fact, in the season. Not 100% sure. In fact, I'm just double checking right now. They had a pretty good season though, as they did go 3-4 against Mind Sanity. So you know they really were on the edge of qualifying. Against Cascade last time though, they lost 1-4, so it wasn't the best showing for them. Cascade, of course, they ended up on top of Group A. They only lost to Mind Sanity and beat everyone else, whereas Mind Sanity actually dropped a couple of other maps here and there. I think they lost to Carnage and Punchline. So Cascade, they ended up top of their group, and from there they actually went to went on into the playoffs, where they ended up playing Mind Sanity once again in the finals. And they did lose there, unfortunately. Again, all killed by Siral, so the overall score was 1-4, and that was a loss for Cascade. They ended up second, so the second place finishes of our SC2ITL Season 1 competition, going up now against MaxFlo, who just missed out on that playoffs last season, and will be looking to do a little bit better here today. So, enough blabbering about that. What's actually going on in these games? Well, we've got a hatchery first, followed by a pool here for Nogiveza. Now getting his gas up as well. We also see a gas coming down for Memory Freak, but he went pool before going for his own hatchery. But nothing too aggressive here on either side. Neither of these players right now looking as though they're going to get too aggressive. And we'll see exactly how things are going to transition out, because it's very hard to say at this stage of the game, oh well, he's 100% going to just make a bunch of lings and go for one all in. So we'll see how much gas gets mined from these extractors, which are up for either player, and we'll see how much they want to commit maybe to extra gas, and how many Zerglings they're going to want to make here. The gas count's very, very even, and Memory Freak with a little bit more money than his opponent, so I suppose that's because I don't really know why that is. Is it because he's not made an Overlord yet? I guess so. No, it's not. Okay, either way, Memory Freak somehow had a little bit more money than his opponent. He's a couple of supply ahead right now, but nothing too major. Has 21 drones apiece, and just a handful of lings coming out on either side of the map to be able to take a little bit of map control, maybe try and get a bit of a scout off as well. As you can see, both players have kept 3 workers in each gas. That gas count's still even, and we see the Bane nest coming down at the same time for either player, so we're going to have a little bit of Ling Blaine wars. Question is, which of these two players will go for the more aggressive option? Will either of them add on a spine crawler to be a little bit more defensive? And how many Zerglings are really going to come out? Is there going to be one guy who makes another round of drones before his Zerglings? And if so, is his opponent then going to be able to counteract that and do the damage he needs? We do see a spine crawler coming down here from Memory Freak, and this would suggest that he's going to be the more defensive player. This is a fair few lings already out here for Nogiveza. It's only about 8 though, really, as we see. As they're about to have speed, Banelet's about to finish, but we don't see many more Zerglings coming up. Only a couple more from Nogi here, and Memory Freak just morphing in a couple of defensive Banes. So our defensive player here is going to be pretty much completely safe. Now actually even starting a Belair and adding an extra gas, so just looking to continue his transition out. And just a couple of lings running forward here, but enough lings to turn this away. And well, he's going to keep these Banelings morphing in for now. If he really wanted to, he probably could have cancelled them. Gets a couple of lings for his effort, and overall here, it's a fairly even trade. Not so great for Noggy to have lost them a couple of banelings. They didn't really achieve too much, but the ling counts will more or less be reset. He has a Rotron comes up for our MaxFloPlay, the green Zerg in the upper left. From him just yet, so he's going to start his own transition into roaches. Now, I'm pretty sure he did not get in the main base here. No, he did not. And that means he does not know that Memory Freak has a lair that's actually about to finish. So we could definitely here in the very near future see some tech start rolling in from Memory Freak, whether that be the Spire coming down. Most likely, I suppose, with this kind of fast lair. And there is that Spire now on the way. So this Rotron from Noggy, what does he need to do with this? Well, you know, ideally, he needs to figure out that this is Mutalisks in some way, and, you know, one way to do that may be to try run by, but with these banelings down at the front, it's going to be very hard to do that. He's actually just going to go for an all-in, in fact. He's adding on a bunch more roaches and morphing in some banelings as well, and now he's actually going to maybe get by with one Zergling. No, still denied. But, I mean, this attack is going to be very, very powerful. You know, so many roaches coming out. The tech is coming out for Memory Freak. You know, he's not really right now expecting to have an attack coming out. He's not really prepared. He's not making any more units. These banelings kind of roll in. They blow up on a spine crawl, catch a few lings from behind as well. And here we go. Now these roaches are going to be spotted by Memory Freak. Is he going to be able to have enough to defend? He's 9 workers ahead of his opponent. He's 27 army supply down. Morphs in some banelings. He's going to look for some good splash damage on these roaches to try and shut this down and to try and just shut this down in any way. Here could we go. The first Baneling then doesn't explode too well in the end. Looked as though it's going to get a huge hit off. One of the Banelings getting killed off here very, very quickly. Banelings are coming in for Noggy at the same time. Banelings now coming forward, and they do clean up a lot of here. The Spire has finished for Memory Freak, but he does not feel like he has time to make Mutalisks right now, and I definitely agree with that. More lings coming in here for Noggy. Gonna look to try and kill off these building spine crawls from Memory Freak, and it looks as though Memory Freak may very well just fall here. He's losing a lot of his drones. The spine crawls are not yet done. And now he's got 6 Mutalisks on the way, but is the damage done going to be too great by his opponent before these Mutalisks can clean up? There's still a significant number of roaches out, and now these roaches get into the main. They're going to spot these Mutalisks, and now they realise, right, well, what I need to do now is just do as much economic damage as I can. You can see these roaches, they're going to take a long time to die, and so they should just use this time to chase down some more drones. In fact, more Zerglings coming in here, going to take down some spine crawlers on the low ground, and that means even more drones will end up dying. Currently a 9-worker lead for Noggy, as his own lair is now on the way. Some more Mutalisks coming out, and again, eventually this whole army will get cleaned up. And the question is, how much damage can he do before that does happen? A couple more Zerglings just nibbling away here. Maybe going to get one more drone there, as the final worker counts 34 to 21, with 22 workers killed in this attack. But 10 Mutalisks are out, and 10 Mutalisks are going to be able to buy him some time. There's also this third base, which has gone up relatively untouched right now, and that may very well have a pretty big effect in this game if it goes on for too much longer. Now Noggy is going to go straight into an infestation pit here. He's continuing to drone himself too, and because he's had so much time knowing these Mutalisks are out by being across the other side of the map, he is going to be pretty happy. He's already added on extra queens, and he's already got spore crawlers in position here. So Noggy, he should be okay. He's going to lose maybe a couple of overlords. Queens are going to come forward and maybe fight these Mutalisks, but the worker count is still heavily in favour of our green Zerg player, as them feelings trying to head across the map do get picked off just a little bit here by these handful of Mutalisks in the sky. In fact, a couple already in the natural, doing a little bit of damage once again, and any workers that go down is really a pain for Memory Freak. Not to mention that, you know, if he even just has to bring his Mutalisks back, then they're not really doing damage. They're not bringing him back into this game like they may be able to do if they can start sniping some workers, etc, etc. Look at this, the huge number of queens now out, and this number of queens could almost just take on the Mutalisks on their own, and Overlord now coming down. And there's a lot banked up here for Noggy, who's just waiting for his pathogen glands to tick over halfway to begin his infestors. He's going to have a lot of infestors coming out. Third base will be cancelled here by, or not cancelled, but denied by killing off the drone, which was trying to morph into an extractor to save itself. Again, a few more Zerglings just coming through the middle of the map, and anything which Noggy can force, which isn't drones, is going to be good right now. His worker lead is being reduced, It's now only a 10 worker advantage overall in the game. He's killed 28 workers. 9 infestors now on the way out. Is he going to be able to hold this third base? I don't think so. This third base will go down. He does get the cancel off. Queen's moving in position here. You know what could be a little bit crazy? Now, it's going to be very hard, of course, to get the vision, but if he just got a Ling around to this side, put a Nidus network up here, he could maybe be very, very aggressive. That being said, he doesn't have much ground army apart from them Queens, and you know they're mostly there just to deal with the Mutalisks. They will not deal well with a high number of Zerglings. So third base now will get established. A lot of infestors now out, and if they could get a catch on these Mutalisks, of course, that is going to be absolutely devastating. It's something that our red Zerg player will definitely have to be a little bit careful about, as he does now find an opening to get a couple of worker kills. He's even going to pick off a gas. He has to be very careful though, and here we go. The fungal clinches one of these Mutalisks. It's not worth wasting another fungal just to get rid of one of them. And so these infestors will now just fall back and continue to gain energy. And now aware of the infestors, Memory Freak should be being a little bit more careful while flying around the map and checking what is going on. Still just a handful of roaches and Zerglings here between the third base and the natural. A couple more roaches coming out as well. And these mutants still just flying around looking for any kind of entry point they can find to do a little bit of damage. Both players are finally going into pretty much heavy roach production as these queens come forward and the Mutalisks get turned away almost immediately. Double Evolution Chamber has just finished up for Nogi. I don't think we've actually seen any of them being built for our red Zerg player. No, we have not. So Memory Freak, he will pick off a gas here, but he will now start to fall behind on upgrades on his roaches. He does have his roach speed, which is something which I'm not too sure. Okay, it actually has already been researched. So both players have roach speed, so this 1-1 could be a huge factor here. And it may very well be that Memory Freak will try and just end this game before the 1-1 can kick in. Again, not really that many roaches from Nogi right now, but there's a lot of queens with a lot of transfuse energy, and there's a lot of infestors with a lot of energy to fungal growth as well. But if the army is well spread, if Memory Freak comes in from all angles at the same time, maybe he can do something here as these Mutalisks position in the sky, maybe looking to get ready to start the engagement on this army. A lot of these infestors are in the main base and they're not really going to be able to get the fungal growth he's going to want. And here we go, these units are coming forward. Nogi's not really been making anything. He's got quite a lot of money in the bank, and these queens, they're going to have to help out. A fungal comes down on the Mutalisks originally. There's so many roaches from Memory Freak though. Infested Terrans, a few of them are coming down, and now a lot more coming in from behind. Some fungal growths coming down as well. Queens still stand to the right hand side. They're transfusing themselves to try and stay alive here, and it looks as though this might just be enough to take down this army, but I'm not too sure. There's still a lot of red roaches around. More green roaches are on the way from Nogi, and he's slowly losing these Memory Freak, slowly losing these roaches and slowly reinforcing as well. A fairly even battle overall, but now these infestors are out of energy, and that means they're pretty much dead supply for the next few moments. And there's still roaches here. Drops a few more infested Terrans. He's going to want to try and keep these infestors alive. Reinforcements are now coming in, fighting with the infested Terrans. It looks as though this might just be enough. Reinforcements also coming in from Memory Freak, but it's not going to be enough, and he will get turned away now as Nogi holds on. And now he's going to be at a huge advantage because his 1-1 is going to finish. That was Memory Freak's one opportunity here to really take a fight and to win this game. Another infestor does go down, but to the left hand side, these roaches are winning the fight for Nogi. To the right hand side, Nogi is also winning the fight against Memory Freak. And again, with 1-1 now here, these small roach encounters will be more favourable for Nogi Vesa, as the last few units are just going to keep on trading. Some reinforcements coming in, pulling the hurt roaches back a little bit, allowing the full HP ones to come forward and take a little bit more of that damage. And Memory Freak just going to back off here and be done with this little bit of an attack. Now he is in a tough position here. He lost all his mutants in that last fight. Maybe able to catch some of these roaches off guard, but is there a fungal available? Maybe there's no, not yet. It's not far away though, as these lings are going to try and get some of them. There's a fungal growth, not really the best hitting fungal growth, but it will be enough to start damaging these roaches and probably just about turn this around. Finally, Memory Freak is still just trying to reinforce and just do whatever he can here, but the roach numbers are just too great for Nogi Vesa. He's still struggling to spend a bit of his money, but in the end here, his roaches and the roach upgrades are just too good, and Memory Freak has to tap out. And pretty awesome game number one, if I do say so myself, between these two players, between Nogi Vesa and Memory Freak. It was fairly back and forth actually. It wasn't just a straight up clean fight. There's definitely an advantage there for Nogiveza from the start, from his attack timing. But the Mutalisks, that attack from Memory Freak, it did nearly pull through. It nearly did what he needed to do. He delayed the third base for so long, but in the end it was just enough there, and Noggy was able to take game number 1 for MaxFlo against Cascade here. So is he going to be able to continue his streak and take MaxFlo to a 2-0 advantage? It would be a fantastic start to the season for MaxFlo if they were able to take down Cascade here, last season's second place finishers. So will that happen? Will it not? Only one way to find out, and that is to stay tuned. Guys, we're going to be back in just a few moments' time. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the Team League action, don't only just follow our stream, but if you want to know when all of the matches are taking place, you should head on over to SC2ITL.net, and if you go on the Team League button and then you go on the match calendar, you can see every single match that's taking place, and there'll be a link to the streams on which they are going to be taking place as well. So as you scroll down, you can see there's a lot of matches, 27 matches each week, and we're going to be trying to get as many of them streamed as possible all over the place. As you can see, a lot of them actually already do have streams attached to them, so do check that out if you're interested in more Team League matches. Otherwise, make sure to hit that follow button while we'll be right back for just a couple of moments before we get into game number 2. We're just going to be waiting from the player and the... Okay, in fact, let's not take a break because we've already got our player from Cascade. It's going to be a Dominus, and it's going to be a PVZ then in our next match for game number 2. So, I guess I'll host this up and invite our players, and we'll just get straight on into game number 2. So, you know, something I would love to know, guys, if anyone knows why I'm still getting messages despite being on busy while in game, please do let me know, because I'd really love to fix that. It's been happening so much lately, I just can't find a way to stop it happening. It's really quite annoying. Anyways, we're set to maybe get into this second match. It is going to be Polar Night for this PVZ, which is a pretty interesting PVZ map. Adonis, I think, loves PVZ on this map. He is the kind of player who does a lot of funky timings. Against Soral in the finals of SC2ITL Season 1 against My Insanity, he played PVZ on this map, and he tried to go for a very Skytoss style, but only with 2 Stargates, and it wasn't really enough to build up the Void Ray numbers he needed to push on through and to hold his third base, and in the end, Soral was just able to break him down. So I wonder if we're going to see something like that from Adonis. He may just come out with some kind of immortal bust on 2 base as well. And of course, it's going to be very important for him here to try and even up this series. Heavy Rain and now Polar Night are maps used, which means we have 5 maps remaining after this map. We'll talk a bit more about that after this game, though, so we'll see how this goes. We're just waiting for Nogiveza for just a few moments' time. He just asked for a second, so we'll give him his second before we get into the next game. In fact, while we've got a second here, let's just run a quick commercial from our sponsors, Zowie Gear. Guys, when we come back, we'll have game number 2 of MaxFlo versus Cascade. Will be less than a minute. Welcome back, guys. We are just still waiting for Nogiveza to be ready in this next second game of the evening here. It is currently 1-0 to MaxFlo. A very nice ZVZ to start the day, and Memory Freak did fall. Nogiveza is now ready. If Adonis is ready as well, we'll be able to get straight on into game number 2 here. PVZ on Polar Night. And there we have go, good luck. So let's jump on into this game, guys. Polar Night our match. PVZ, and we'll load. on up. Tick everything under the social register in the options. You know, for some reason, I'm pretty sure I've done that like so many times. I'm gonna have to have another look though, and make sure everything's ticked, because something's changed which allows me to still see the PMs when I'm in game, which is just ridiculous. So, anyways, we are now loading on up, as you can see. I'll try and fix that in the next game. Anyways, in the lower side of the map here, we're going to be sporting with our purple Protoss player representing Cascade. It's a Dominus. Going to be looking to try and bring his team level pegging here with their opponent's MaxFlo. Their player right now taking game number 1. Can he take game number 2? Nogi Vetsa. Vetsa. I'm sure there's going to be some really interesting way of saying the accents on the E and the Z there, which I'm just not going to be able to figure out myself, so we're just going to stick with Nogi, or Nogi. It's a bit of a weird name, at least from my perspective. So PvZ on this map, it's you know, we all know Polar Knight. It's been around a fair amount of time now. We all know this map. We've seen it so many times before. Main base, pretty standard. Quite annoying to play against Mutalisks on this map, you know, just because there's so many entries to the main base. So much dead air over here to just escape in as well from the Blink Stalkers. Very interesting base behind the natural here, which is obviously very well defended from most kind of attacks later in the game. So if you can take 3 bases like in this direction, like 1, 2, 3, generally you can take this base as a 4 very, very easily. And that's definitely something both players will probably look to do in this game, as if it goes long enough at least. Interesting. Let's stop talking about the map, because we have an interesting opening here from Nogivetsa. This is a gas first, followed by a pool, so 14-14. This means he's going to get very aggressive right off the bat. You know, he's going to start off and just go and go with his aggression. At least I assume so. Most likely just going to try and link flood. We'll probably want to start up a couple of lings now to try and maybe deny some scouting, and maybe a queen. Starts up 6. And he's going to extract a trick to get his queen out. Okay, no expansion just yet for him. We'll have to keep an eye on when that is going to come up. We see an interesting opening from Adonis, who just cancels the Zealot, but then restarts his Zealot. I suppose he just wants to make sure he can keep it building in case something does come across the map he needs the Zealot for. But, yeah, I don't know. Cancels it again. Alright, so no Zealot right now. You know, these 6 Zerglings, they may very well get a cancel on this natural. And if they can get a cancel on the natural with more Zerglings streaming in with speed, it's going to be very hard for Adonis to actually get a natural expansion. He's got a Mothership Core on the way out, but this probe is going to be killed off, and if the probe dies, he gets a wall on the top of his ramp. Probe goes down. These lings are going to turn around. More lings are coming across the map, guys, so he's going to start doing some damage to this natural, but he's going to have more lings to finish it off as he kites away from the Mothership Core right now. Is he just going to sacrifice these Zerglings? What's he going to do? He's just running them away to try and keep as many of them as alive as possible. And remember, more Zerglings are coming across the map. What's important is that he's denying any kind of wall off coming up at the natural, so it's going to be very hard if Adonis wants to build a wall off there, because he's just not going to have the pylon to begin that for quite some time here. Now speed's about to finish. The queen has had an inject off on the hatchery, and that means 8 more lings are about to pop all at the same time, so a massive ling is going to start coming up. There's the start of this wall, and of course the main goal for Nogi is to be able to continue shutting this down. He's actually going to get into the main base, and the sentry gets a force field, but now the sentry should die. And now Adonis may be in a little spot of trouble. The Ling gets killed off at the natural here. He's Corona boosting out another sentry. These Zerglings will get by, and they will start doing some economic damage here. So not going to go for the natural in the end. Just going to just stream in, and Photon Overcharge is used. Now he can back off. Now he can go for the natural. And doing some good damage here so far. Adonis is still up by 6 workers. It's so important here for Nogi to really just do as much damage as he can. He's got a hatchery up behind this, but he is continuing to make Zerglings. He is destined to kill this natural expansion, basically. Going to try and get as many workers as he can throughout as well. Doesn't want to run up there as Photon Overcharge is on. He could get locked in by a force field, and that would mean the end of a lot of these Zerglings. With more Zerglings coming across the map, this natural expansion is 100% going to die. Another probe comes out. That will get targeted down by a few Zerglings here, which run up the ramp, and oh, they actually sneak on by. These sentries now under attack. Are they going to go down? One of them's on very low HP, and one does die. The other one as well, with photon overcharge going off, it looks as though this sentry's also going to die, and Adonis is just really in a little spot of trouble. He's trying to add some kind of wall. Yeah, adding another pylon, but now these Zerglings are going to come in and fight his probes once again. He's going to lose a lot of workers here. Drones coming back up at home for our Zerg player. And how much damage has been done overall? Well, the Zerg comes out with a 4-worker advantage, 13 workers killed, and now Adonis is on 3 gateways, but absolutely nothing else. And Noggy knows how good of a position he is in. He knows his opponent is in this spot where he basically either all-ins or expands and is definitely behind in a macro game, so he can 100% afford to build a spine crawler here to be, just a little bit safer in the game. Some more Zerglings continue to come on out, continue to stream out of the main, and going back into Glassmine, I'm probably going to just look to get his lair up, or maybe even just a Roach-Roaring down to, defend any kind of aggression. As a couple of Zerglings coming forward here, and they have spotted the re-expansion. Now, do they spot this? Yes, they do spot the Fiends, looking as though they may have wanted to move out. They don't in the end, though, and the Zerglings are actually once again going to get up into the ramp. But they aren't going to get into the main base, and now they're actually stuck there. So these Zerglings will end up dying, and finally Noggy will lose his map control. Dominus will be able to regain that a bit, but look at the worker count that's just being, the worker difference being created here by our Zerg players. Now 16 workers up, and Roach-Roaring about to finish too. He's in such a good spot. I've no more gases. I wonder if he tries to maybe end the game just without any kind of lair tech. If he just goes with roaches on 2 bases and just tries to kill his opponent off, because he definitely could. But that being said, he's a bit supply blocked, and now he actually does start the lair as well, which means we're probably going to see our 3rd base being taken for Zerg in a few moments' time. And in fact, well, it's right on time. There is the drone coming over to put that down. So handful of sentries, handful of zealots here are going to be marching across, going to look to take down this 3rd base. Now there are a few roaches on the way out. They actually are already out here. They're heading over towards this 3rd base to defend, and going to want to try and snipe some of these sentries. A recall can be used, remember. 20 Zerglings now on the way as well. Zealot's starting to take a little bit of damage. If he recalls right now, he doesn't lose anything. Recall too fast. But now he knows what's up. He starts an Immortal straight away here. Problem is, this is a very weak wall off. 3 pylons and a robo facility is not really the ideal way to wall off, and he may lose this robo facility. I'm pretty sure he will get at least 1 Immortal out though. So that's at least one good thing of this. As coming in here, he's going to look to, what's he going to go try to take down? He's actually just going to fight the army. He's taken down a couple of Zealots already. These roaches continuing forward. The Immortal comes out, and this will add so much DPS now, as long as Adonis targets down the roaches, and that's exactly what he is doing. Lings continuing to stream forward. These sentries, another force field comes down, and one of them does die, but really not too much damage, not too much significant damage being done here. I think this is actually a really nice hold from Adonis. Takes pretty much no damage, even keeps this pylon alive, and kills off so much of his opponent's army. Actually loses that pylon in the last couple of moments to the roaches. But still, I mean, losing 1 pylon when an attack like that comes towards you is not so bad. 50 drones to 43 probes right now. The economic situation in this game, of course, very interesting because of the way Dominus got his natural expansion so late. I wonder if, he's adding on a couple more gateways now. Does he add on a few more? Yes, he does. He's going to go for the Immortal Sentry all in. He's added on a 4th gas as well, so his gas count's really going to roll. He's going to want to probably add on a few more sentries with this, unless he just goes with only a handful of force fields. So that's going to be very difficult to really make work. War Prism now on the way as well. It instantly kills off that Changeling. Problem is, because of the way Adonis was set back, there's been so much time for Noggy, and he's actually been able to get into Hydra's tech here. Not just get into it, like, he's fully into it right now. He's making 13 Hydras at a time. Groove Spines is already on the way. He's got Roger Speed coming up as well. He's going to have so much stuff, which you would not usually have against an Immortal all-in, when this Immortal all-in does hit. So that's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because Adonis, he basically has to go with this. Well, maybe not. He's actually adding on a 2nd Robo facility and a Robo base, so he's looking as though he's going to find a way to transition out of this with double Robo Colossi. Is it going to be effective though? It's one of these things where he's realizing he's so far behind. He needs to do something crazy to make it work, and it may just be crazy enough to work against what's going to be a heavy Ling Hydra army. You know, if all of a sudden there's 4 Colossi unscouted, Noggy could find himself in a spot of trouble. Some Zealot's going to warp in with this Warp Prism, going to head into the main base. Just a few units being left over here to deal with this. Very good awareness of what could be happening on the map right now from our Zerg player. You know, he's prepared for everything. Nothing's going to catch him off guard. These Hydras are going to turn around this Warp Prism. What was immediately? There we go, going to start committing forward now, and you know, even the Zealot's dropping off, he's going to be able to deal with that pretty nicely, not moving his main army away at all. And well, force fields are going to come down here, and this third base is going to go under attack. Some Lings are beginning to stream through. The force fields are good though, they do block out a lot of the army, and a recall immediately though from Anonymous. Just a little bit too much squeezing through here and getting damage done. This Warp Prism will get away for now, and is in fact going to start heading back towards the main base. Maybe try and warp in a little bit more. Zerg army on the way across the map right now. Now this is scary. This is the kind of timing Anonymous basically has just to hold, and then he can be safe for a little while longer with some Colossi out. But can he hold for this long? I mean, his first Colossi may even go down before it comes out here if that Robo facility is targeted. Most importantly, no, Noggy's going to see these Colossi almost immediately, and that means he's going to be having almost maximum time to react. This first Robo is being targeted, and there it goes. The Robo facility goes down. 1 Colossi now taken out of production, and a single Colossi is nowhere near as scary as 2 Colossi, of course, as that 1 Colossi does pop out. Adonis not with enough money to start. Okay, he's actually already queued up that second Colossi. But look at this, the Concave just waiting outside the natural. And the thing is, Adonis, he'll just sit here and wait and say, you know, well, maybe I'm going to hope you run into me and just lose while I try and harass you at home. But, you know, Noggy, he's just going to say, well, eventually you have to leave. And as long as I can hold off at home and I don't make any stupid mistakes, I'm good. Adonis is actually moving out here. He's going to maybe look for the fight. And the Zerg player are going to just collapse in on him with this Concave. Now, the Immortals and the Colossi are standing strong right now. They're not being taken down. These Hydras are very weak without much to tank for them. And the force fields are pretty good here to keep them back for a little while longer. But now the Colossi being targeted. Is it going to go down? Yes, it will. And it looks as though now there's just not enough to deal with the Hydras because they have such high DPS, and Adonis is going to fall here. And Cascade are going to find themselves 2-0 down. Last season's second place finishes 2-0 down in the first match of the season. What is happening here? As MaxFlo are here to prove their dominance. Mothership Core goes down. I mean, there's this 1 Colossi left over. The game is all but over. 80 supply up for the Zerg. It would take a massive throw for him to be able to lose this now. And you can see he's not even interested in killing the Colossi. He's just going to kill the workers, kill the Nexus. He knows he can just mass up units and continue attacking. GG's called, and Anonymous taps on out of the game. Noggy takes game number 2 to take Cascade now up 2-0 in this... to take MaxFlo up 2-0 in this best of 7. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, do stay tuned. We're going to get into game number 3 as soon as possible, but we do have to wait for the player and map pick. So while we set up that game, we're just going to run a couple of ads and a little bit of music, so don't go too far. In the meantime, check out our Twitter, maybe our Facebook as well, twitter.com/SC2_improve or facebook.com/SC2improve. Guys, we'll be back in just a few moments' time with the 2 Improve Team League Season 2. We are here with what is essentially our first official broadcast of the First Division, and we're going to get into game number 3 of our first match of the evening. It's Cascade against MaxFlo right now, and MaxFlo are on a roll with Nogiewicz taking 2 games in a row to take the Polish team up in this best of 7 all-kill match. Deathmask is the next player coming out for Cascade. Is he going to be able to make the difference? Well, I don't know, man. Nogiewicz, he's on such a roll. It's going to be very... You know, Deathmask is going to have to do something solid to take him down, because Noggy, the scary thing about him is he's playing different styles. You know, game number 1, you know, it was a ZVZ, but he played a fairly... you know, he macroed for a bit, but he went for a timing. Game 2, he also went for a heavy timing, but now we're on Frost. So in Deathmask's head, he's going to be saying, are you going to go for another timing attack? But we're on a very large map, so maybe you won't. And that's definitely got to be something which will be running through his head here for the next little while in this game. Alright, so in the lower right-hand corner, we have the yellow Protoss player. It's Deathmask. Representing Cascade here, and going to look to try and pull his team on the scoreboard in this clan war. If this is an all-kill by Nogiewicz, then all 3 matches so far out of the 12 that are played each week in the First Division will have been all-kills. And that's actually a little bit ridiculous when you think about the teams we've had. I mean, we had Alien Invasion against Alternate. Which is, you know, if you ask me, it's a fairly even match, you know, especially when Alien Invasion, before Alien Invasion stopped bringing out their Korean players, it's definitely a fairly even match, I think, but Chubbs just went for there. Punchline, they got shut down by RUW with an all kill, so another match which I thought would have been quite even, but even Firecake wasn't even to put them on the scoreboard. And anyways, here we are in the upper left hand corner, the Greens they play, it's Nogivetsa. Representing MaxFlo, going for pool first here, no gas first this time around though. And looking like he's just going to add on his expansion here in a couple of moments time, which is all very standard. Now we do have a Forge expand, and it is a Forge first out of Death Mask, so most likely just looking to maybe punish the Zerg player if he had gone for that hatchery first, but okay, he's still going to try the cannon rush anyway. He adds on the pylon here, and immediately Nogivetsa sent in his a couple of drones down, or just a single drone to check what's up. Then look at this, at the same time a second probe is here, and that may now sneak up to the high ground, but that being said, he may not need to, because this first pylon is going to finish. The other pylons are coming down now, and Nogi is going to have to decide what he wants to do about this. 6 Zerglings are on the way now. The first 2 cannons are only just coming up. These 2 cannons should... Okay, what's he going to do? He's just going to counterattack across the map, alright. Well, I quite like this actually, just counterattacking across the map. Asking for a second here. And let's see what exactly is his plan. So obviously right now he's looking for an opportunity to
game resumed.
Attack and just do some damage with a counterattack. Now a Nexus starts up for Death Mask here. He doesn't have that much money because he's invested so much to this rush. 2 cannons finished, 3 pylons here as well, and an immediate cancel. And that means he's not going to have a wall off. He is not going to have a wall off, and these 6 Zerglings could probably force a cancel on this Nexus, or maybe even kill the Forge. Now let's see how this is going to work out. This probe is in position, but it's just not got the money. This money is just not there. And immediately this cannon's going to start getting target fire down, and that's basically all of his defenses. Probes have been pulled off the mineral line to try and deal with these Zerglings, but of course that's not ideal. One of these Zerglings does get caught by these probes. Another cannon being built. This time these probes are going to try and save it, but look at this, a lot of damage being done here, and Nogi with his aggressive nature in these games just keeps it up and continues to just attack. So much mining time being lost by these probes, remember, as they fight the Zerglings, and a few probes will go down as well. And again, you've got to remember, such a commitment to cannons and pounds on the other side of the map. This is about 600 minerals of stuff, which is just not going to be used anymore in the game. It's going to get cleaned out in the very near future. Look at this Death Mask, he's on 11 supply, 12 supply. His Nexus does finish, but he barely has any money. He's literally able to make his probes, and that's absolutely it. Not giving a bit of a mistake here. Flying his overlord maybe a bit too far forward, but it's okay, he realizes in plenty of time. And he's going to have his own expansion coming up here in a moment. Now a Roach Warren on the way, and is he just going to, are we just going to see a big Roach burst? Because with the economy that Death Mask currently has, I don't think he'd be able to hold a big Roach burst. Pulls out 3 workers from gas and sends them down to his second expansion. 8 roaches. So obviously this is just the number of roaches he wants. No Zergling speed. Just 8 roaches are going to come across the map here. There are these 4 Zerglings too. And Death Mask, he hasn't even started Warp Gate. Like, he's not even got a Cybernetics core down. This is how far behind he is. There's a Cybernetics core starting at 7 minutes in this game. I mean, his game has been finished for so long, but he's just realized that he has to make workers, and the problem for him, of course, is, you know, he makes workers, but instead of making workers, he's not making defenses, and he's got absolutely no idea that roaches are coming across the map. You know, these pylons and cannons, they can't scout it. They don't see this little area across here, which these roaches have walked out in. He's got absolutely no idea that he's about to get attacked and probably just lose, because he has absolutely no units. He can't even make a mothership core yet because the Cybernetics core isn't finished. And, I mean, he's probably going to stop Warp Gate immediately, and he chrono boosts it too. And that means he's not going to have a mothership core for even longer as the first roaches arrive. These first few Zerglings, one of them gets killed off. He sees there's only 1 cannon here, and probably going to use these Zerglings to tank this cannon shot as these roaches come forward. And here we go, this cannon's going to go down, and Death Mask is in so much trouble. How do you defend 8 roaches? A mothership core takes about 5 minutes to kill 8 roaches. Statistics here may be made up on the spot, but the point is, it's not going to be before all of these workers die unless he just does some crazy running around with them. But you can see the roaches, they're aware of that, and they're just going to start picking these off here. Drones coming up at home as well, and this is going to do so much damage as he continues to chase down, and it looks as though he's just going to keep picking off these workers, which are basically just stuck in this natural expansion now. You know, they can't really go anywhere. They're going to be pulled to actually fight. But the worker count just decreases and decreases and decreases. 17, 16, now 15. And, well, I actually haven't noted this yet, but there are 2 cannons up here which have been built with a pylon, which is, you know, doing a bit of damage, but enough damage? Well, no. I mean, now 12, 11 workers left. And there's still, what, 6 roaches here? No, scrap that. There's 7. He's barely even lost anything. He's lost a single roach in all of this time. And now you've got to think he's got to kill, you know, 7 more of them to stop this threat. He's finally getting his warp gate up, but it is just too late. He's going to lose all his workers. He doesn't even have money to warp in a single zealot. And roaches and a queen, you know, they move up here to kill off this, but it's game over already. Death Mask on 9 supply. And what an aggressive game. Or what an aggressive series we're seeing right now out of these guys. Wow, wow, wow. What can I say? I mean, Nogi Vetsa is just playing aggressively, but in that game, he was forced to be aggressive. His opponent cannon rushed him. His opponent got himself into that position where Nogi felt like he had to go for a counterattack, and where he did decent damage, and where he delayed the cybercore, and you know, all of this, which added up to the roach attack just being the perfect final answer, just end the game right there. No way you can hold. You know, maybe if there was a scout, he'd seen the roaches, he adds on 2 or 3 more cannons, walls off to buy some time. Maybe them roaches die, maybe they don't get in there. Problem of the matter is, 8 roaches when the cybernetics core's just finished. It's not that big of a commitment still. He's got so long to drone up until Warpgate kicks in. It really was not a good position there for Death Mask. 4th player from Cascade is going to come out here in just a few moments' time. There's no one in the chat for them just yet, so it may just be a couple of moments, guys. So we're going to just take a very quick commercial break once again here, just while we get this next map set up again with these live clan wars. Sometimes it takes a few moments for teams to decide who's coming out next, you know, who's going to be playing, where they're going to go, yada yada yada. Alright, so going to be getting into game number 4 here. Might be our last map. If it's going to be an all kill, we'll be finding that out here very, very soon, guys. So don't go too far away. We'll be back in just a few moments. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the stream, do hit that follow button. See when we go live with SC2 Improved Team League matches all the time, guys. Stay tuned. To Improved Team League Season 2. How are you all doing? I am Wardy, and we're in our first of 2 matches here tonight with MaxFloPlay against Cascade. Cascade, last season's 2nd place finishers, are now 3-0 down, and they are going to be relying on a Zerg player here to try and bring them the reverse all kill to take this series. But just taking down the first player here would be a good start. Let's introduce the player that Cascade is relying on. In the upper right hand corner, he is playing in the yellow. Definitely one of the MVPs of Cascade in Season 1. I recall when he went up against My Insanity, he went 3-0 against them, taking down players such as Jachi and Kane. It is Minato. Spotted in the upper right hand corner. His map pick for this EVZ was Habitation Station, so let's see what he has in mind for this matchup. In the upper left hand corner, it's going to be a green Zerg player from MaxFlo. It's Nogivetsa, and in the break I actually learned that this is Zazu, a player we used to see quite a lot in SC2 Improve events. So pretty weird to see that he's just changed names, probably quite a while ago, and that we just had no idea about it. It's amazing how mysterious of a place, of a world StarCraft can be, where people can just change identity. You have no idea. You just don't know. Initial overlords just coming across the map for either player. Secondary overlords being sent in similar directions, mostly looking as though they want to just chill out over here and watch, of course, the exit of this natural and the most direct route to their own base. So, Nogivetsa, okay, Zazu. It's going to be starting here with what was a pool first. followed by a spawn pool. Sorry, a pool first. A gas first, followed by a spawn pool. Imagine that. Going pool first, following it by a spawn pool. You got double pool up. It's like, I'm gonna protect a hive. At the same time, I'm gonna build both adrenal glands and metabolic boost. That's why I need 2 pools. Okay, so that never happens. He went gas first, followed by his pool, and he's going up against a hatchery first of his opponent here. So once again, turning things up into terms of aggression. But I'm not too sure I like it on this map, because this Overlord scouts it straight away, and immediately here he knows exactly what he's up against. So Minato knows what he's playing against. He's going to be able to react in his own way, with however he feels is the best way to react to this play from his opponent. His own hatchery is about 75% of the way done right now, as his own pool is about a similar percentage done, and his own gas has just finished up here now. He's going to just start mining and getting enough for speed. No expansion for Zazu just yet though, and well, I should say Nogi, as this is obviously his new ID. And he has kept mining gas as well, which means he's going to put down a Bane nest, which means we could see a few heart palpitations coming out from the viewers, as a little bit of Ling Baneling action is going to be coming down. We see a Spinecrawler being added on here for Minato, and that suggests, you know, he wants to be a little bit defensive. These 4 Zerglings coming up the ramp, and 2 Zerglings coming out now. There's now 4 Zerglings here altogether. Spinecrawler is going to be attacked, but with these 4 Zerglings, it's not going to take too much damage. Now speed's going to kick in here very, very soon. Minato doing a good job so far of not getting his Zerglings caught and killed off for free, and doing a good job of buying time. Loses 1 Zergling here. I think he got a Zergling off his opponent. No, he didn't, in fact. Just that 1 Zergling Queen, as well as more Zerglings and the Spinecrawler, all going to come down here at the same time. Now speed is about to finish for Nogivetsa, but it looks as though he's going to get out of there before he needs to do anything with that. Where'd that other queen go? Okay, we've got 2 queens here. Speed is finished, and these lings are just going to try and hold off for as long as they can. Minato's pulled out of gas at 100, so he's only 104, but he's only getting metabolic boost. He's not going for his own banelings here. He's going to rely on his queen DPS and his Spinecrawler here to take down the banelings and to try and be able to just trade efficiently. As initially here, the banelings, they're going to start getting pretty close to these Zerglings. No big explosions just yet though. Another queen about to come out, and with 3 queens, you know, very quickly we're actually going to see these banelings becoming very, very fragile and getting shot down very quickly. Another one goes down. No real explosions at all here. Now, what is interesting is that Minato's launching this counter attack while droning up at home, and he's going to be very far ahead on the word count, and he's about to have speed as well, so he's actually going to be pretty much okay to run in here. You know, he might even get a pretty decent amount of damage done. Defensive banelings are coming in. There's just enough Zerglings here right now. Now he turns around and he thinks about going for a fight, but in the end he doesn't, and he will just disengage from this altogether. This Overlord going to be the next thing to die on this map, and well, an Evolution Chamber and a Roach Warren now coming up for Minato. Venokdok in the chat asking if Nogivetsa is GM. Yes, he is. Both of these players are GM. Or Minato may not be GM right now, but he has definitely been GM before. He was definitely GM last season, or maybe even earlier this season. I'm not too sure. But yes, both of these players are Grandmaster level. As we see, I think Minato in a really good position. I mean, he's up 12 workers, 10 workers, and that's all the supply he's up. But it's pretty nice. And these lings getting locked out, but of course, wow. Oh my god, that was a pretty huge baneling hit. A lot of Zerglings going down from Minato. And, I mean, Nogivetsa just needs to buy time to get up his own drone count. He's going into a lair, he's going into his own Rotron, but he doesn't have Evolution Chambers. And this is the difference, I mean, between having no economy early on and having an economy early on, which is what Minato has had. The early aggression here really did not work out so far for Nogivetsa. And, well, these roaches, we're going to start massing up for him. Now, did we see a lair being produced? No. So Minato is just building roaches and +1, but he's not yet investing in a lair. So maybe he just wants to try and end this game very quickly and go for one big +1 time. He's completely walled in here. He needs to kill off one of these Evo chambers to be able to escape. Now he starts up his own lair, and still, from Nogivetsa, we see absolutely no Evo chambers, so no upgrades from him just yet. And maybe he tries to hit timing here with roaches and banelings or something. before the +1 kicks in of his opponent. I think that may be one of his only chances here, unless we see very soon. He's going to Aspire? Okay, wow, he is. He's going to go Aspire. These 3 spine crawlers. Obviously for defensive purposes, because he's not intended on making too many more units here. He's just going to go straight into the Mutalisks, but I don't know. I mean, he's 13 workers down. Going Mutas when you're not in that great of an economic position is always a little bit, well, maybe. Is it going to work? Is it not? And I think it's going to be very tough to make this work, especially considering 1-1's going to be out for these roaches of Minato very soon. Once 1-1 is out, it's so easy for him to just attack and do damage. And I mean, 3 spine crawlers, yes, it's nice, but is it really going to be enough against 1-1 roaches? I don't really think so. As some more Zerglings once again getting deflected here from the natural of Minato. Alright, so no third bases. See an overseer coming in here. It's going to come in for a bit of a scale. Look at this, already a spore crawl in the main base. That's that even kills that overseer. Spore crawl is pretty nice. That means of course the mutas aren't going to be able to do much right at the start. We actually see Roach Speed already being researched by Nogivetsa, so he's getting ready to change into the Roaches. 7 Mutalisks on the way, and there's an evolution chamber, so he's finally going to start his own upgrades. But is he going to be able to make up for the simple fact that he's just so far behind on the upgrades? Like, are the Mutalisks going to be able to make the difference? I really do not think they are. 7 Mutalisks is not a scary number. You add a couple of Queens, which is already being done, and boom, you're defending against 7 Mutalisks rather easily. I mean, something these Mutalisks can't do is move around, kill off overlords, but there's plenty of supply already set for Minato. He's kind of already fought ahead of this. He's 118 over 148. So he's got plenty of supply, and even if he loses a few overlords here and there, not going to be that bad. Now, these Mutas are going to clear up some of the creep, which is, fairly nice. Not the biggest of deals in ZVZ. His Queen's going to come forward, though, and start turning these Mutalisks away just a little bit. And look at this. The Roach Army is absolutely huge for Minato right now. He's currently 82 supplied to 46 of his opponent, and that's continually rising as well. And as well, he's got his +2 over halfway done. +1. It's like nowhere even close for Nogivetsa right now. And he's 40 supply down. Again, he needs to just use these Mutalisks to buy himself time. He's going to get himself an overlord here, maybe 2. Depending on how long he wants to commit. 4 turns away. I mean, he's being attacked by a Queen. The rest of the Queens were on the way over there for just a moment. How does he defend? Any kind of attack across the map. I mean, there's so many roaches. The Queens are coming too, so that the Mutalisks aren't going to be able to just kill everything. And I mean, there's just not enough here for Nogivetsa. He is down by about 30-ish roaches. 28 to be exact. Now only 23, but still, I mean, is it really going to be able to hold it off? I mean, there's also these Queens here which will add transfuses, and he's down on upgrades, and Minato's just going to run in. He's got +2 as well, about to finish, and I mean, this fight's just an absolute massacre. These Mutalisks get turned away almost instantly by the Queens. These roaches are going to try and run, and I mean, they can run as long as they like. They're just not going to be able to they're not going to be able to get away though. Nogivetsa does actually force Minato to turn around for a couple of moments, but Minato just waiting to come in from a different angle, and there we have it, +2 now finished. So 2-1 against 1-0. Spine crawlers, they're not going to help at all. The Mutalisks from behind are dying. The Queens are doing a good job transfusing each other, and these roaches are just absolutely massacring here for Minato. Coming in, this is his kill move, and it's going to do just that. It's going to kill off Nogivetsa. Not just Nogivetsa in this map, but his whole killing streak in this clan war. And finally, Cascade have a point on the scoreboard, and the scoreline is 3-1. We are not going to see an all kill here today. What we are going to see is another game from Minato, at least one more, as MaxFlo are going to be looking to send out a player who they think can take down Minato. It's 3-1. They can send out 3 players. They've got 3 maps of their choice as well. So, the maps which are remaining: Altazim Stronghold, Daedalus Point, and Yonsu. Now, you may be thinking, there's a couple of problems there, and that is that there's a Zerg player left, and Altazim and Daedalus are still in that map pool, and they are going to be two very good Zerg maps that they have to play on if they lose more than one player here. So, MaxFlo, do they use up Yonsu now with a very strong player that they think can just beat Minato, because that'll be their best chance? But then if they lose, they risk having to play against Minato on two very nice maps for Zerg. Or do they try and just wear him down a bit, play him on Altazim, play him on Daedalus, and then keep Yonsu as a last resort for their ace player to give their ace the best possible chances? Let's find out. We're going to wait for MaxFlo to pick their next player and their next map in just a few moments' time. Players we could see coming out of MaxFlo include Soul. He's a very good Terran player. Not too sure if you guys have seen him before, but he's a very good Terran player, and he definitely could take down Minato. WMTK is also in this chat. He's a pretty good Terran player. Inter is also in this chat as well. Inter, one of the MaxFlo players I probably know the least about, considering I've casted Soul a lot before. I casted WMTK just yesterday. Inter's a Zerg player. Who else have MaxFlo got on their team? Let me remind myself. They're a team which is very... They do have Pal, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's recently left. No, they still do have Pal on their team as well. And he is a pretty good Protoss player. Probably the ace behind Soul, but is he going to be here for today? 2 ace if it comes to that, that's the question. So, you know, a lot's kind of just being asked still, and we're just still waiting for a player here from MaxFlo to continue on in this best of 7 all kill game. Guys, how is everyone in the chat doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm Wardy, of course, and this is the SC2 Improve Team League. It looks as though we're going to have a few minutes before we get another game here while we wait for the player pick. So we're going to once again just run adverts instead of me just talking and doing nothing. So please do stay tuned. We'll be back as soon as we have a player and as soon as we have a map, I promise you guys. And as well, if you're wondering, after this match we are not done for the day. At 2100 CST, 9 PM Central European Summertime, we have Team Missing in Action taking on AT Gaming. Missing in Action last season, they actually fell to... Did they fall to... They fell to Cascade in the semi-finals, so a round of 4 team going up against AT Gaming, who fell to... Maybe they actually fell to Team MI. I'm going to try and find that out and refresh my memory. So guys, don't go too far. We're just running an advert while we get our next player for MaxFlo. Same, it's Minato against Soul in the upper right hand corner. Let's wait for the text to disappear. There we go. In the upper right hand corner we do have the yellow Zerg player representing Cascade. Can he reverse all kill? I feel like this may be one of his toughest opponents on this map. We'll talk a bit more about this map and why it's so good for TVZ in just a few moments. It is Minato in the upper right hand corner. In the lower left, his opponent, the pink, is a Terran player. MaxFlo's Soul. So why is this map so good for TVZ? Well, I mean, it's a fairly small 2-player map, and if we just zoom out here, I mean, the distance from... Generally a Terran player will take their third base here, and the thing is, to push from the third base, generally you'd congregate your army about here. So to push from here to here, which is where the 4th base is most likely going to be for the Zerg player, it doesn't take very long, and so you can be very, very aggressive as a Terran, constantly pushing across the map, and it's very hard to actually take any other bases. So you can't really take this because of the rocks unless you have a lot of time to kill them off. And then it's actually very droppable between this base and this base. Drops in general on this map are very good just because of the ability to go between the main, the natural, and the third so easily. It's quite quick movement between those. The main to the 4th base is one of the main factors though, which can make drop play so good. So as well as that, just in general, Reapers are so good on this map. You know, they've got so many ways in, they've got so many ways out, not only of the main base, but the natural. They can sneak out here. You know, they can get out all over the place. So everything is just so easy for Terran to really do on this map, as this initial drone scout does get turned around without too much. Without too much hassle. It's just heading over to the base, where you can continue to mine once again. Taking a gas here, not too weird against a Reaper expand. Get the gas up nice and quickly, try and limit the amount of damage the Reapers can do. And you'll see an expansion coming down here very soon as well, as the first Reaper does now start to make its way across the map. So we're still going to start to see things heating up here, and it looks as though we're going to see a fairly normal TVZ for at least the most part of the early game, as we're just going to have a Reaper Hellion opening out of Seoul, and probably just going to go into 3 CCs. Hits the natural here. Doesn't want to commit up into the main base just yet, which I find a bit interesting. Generally, it's quite nice to be able to spot, you know, gas being mined and how much gas has been mined already. Just wants to sit on this natural and picks off a bit of HP of it. So this Reaper just being left here right now. Minardo not really committing forward with his Zerglings, realizes he doesn't really need to. This Reaper now does jump up, so you know, from not jumping up before to deciding now he wants to scout, I suppose he's now going to get in and gets better information, because now he gets to click on this gas. He sees over 100 mined and 1 work on gas, so he knows exactly how much his gas his opponent's been doing. And also, I guess something smart to note is, because he's been at the front all the time, no Zerglings have been able to sneak away to come and cancel his command center. So this actually does make a fair amount of sense, I suppose, when you think about it a little more. Alright, so we do see a 5th CC just on the way, part of his wall off as well. He knows speed's on the way, so he's just going to try and wall off nice and quickly to be able to deny the speed of his opponent, any kind of run by. And he's just going to start up his Hellions here in the very near future as well. Where are these Reapers? Here they are, trading off against some Zerglings. Some good damage done so far. 4 Lings, 2 drones. And these Reapers are being very successful in not only holding the map control, but dealing a little bit of early game damage to his opponent. So that's all good. And so just continuing his wall off here now. 12 Zerglings are on the way in production, and they will have speed as well, so they're going to cross the map very quickly. But a couple of Hellions are out here, and Hellions 3 and 4 are going to be on the way here in just a moment as well. And you know, altogether, there's just not too much for Seoul to actually have to worry about. I mean, with this number of units, he's going to be just fine. Now, what was this extra gas for? Because we did see more than 100 gas being mined, and it's not really being used just yet. It could be for a fairly fast lair, as these Lings do actually run by, but 3 Hellions here. What goes down? Single Marine so far, but maybe a mule or 2. 1 mule, 2 mules. Okay, so that definitely wasn't good. That was just a little bit of a mistake by Seoul. You know, if his... So a quick pause here. A little bit of a mistake, you know, if he'd raised that depot, if he'd had his Hellions maybe just on the low ground even, he could have denied the Lings running into the mineral line there. So we're going to have a bit of a pause here, just for a few moments. We see a 3rd hatchery coming down for Minato. So he's just continuing to expand here, looking as though he just wants to head into a macro game. Taking a 2nd gas. He's got 140 gas banked up. It's not too weird. I mean, it's too late to really invest in a Roach run and go for any kind of Roach Bling bust, unless it's a much later Roach Bling bust. So, for now, this will just be a fairly standard play. I assume Lair will come down very soon, and then the Baden Nest will come down as well. And Seoul now asks to go again. And there we have the G from Minato. So the game resumes once again, and so gonna head over to his 5th and 6th Hellion now, starting to move out on the map a little bit with those initial 4 already, and just continuing to produce his SCVs here. Starts up Stim. Wasn't really in too much of a rush to get that started, and very soon we're probably going to see him add on engineering bays and a couple of barracks as well. So probably could have added them on already if he hadn't lost them to first 2 mules. But losing them mules is quite painful. You know, it's about 500 minerals he should have, but he just doesn't. So that's probably the reason his barracks and engineering bays aren't quite on the way just yet. 1-1 now on the way for our Zerg player. Still no extra production coming down. There we go. Okay, extra barracks now coming down. He's going to be building an extra reactor with his factory to make as many marines as possible as soon as possible from this. So, still no lair from Minato. Just now starts that up, in fact, just after his 1-1. So it'll time out quite nicely for his 2-2. And probably start his Bane and S when it's about halfway done as well. Talking about upgrades, there's the double engineering base coming down for Soul as well. So all together here, it looks as though both players are going to be fairly even in all aspects. I mean, the Zerg's going to have a bit of an advantage in the upgrades, but it's not going to be anything too major. As long as Soul doesn't forget his armory for too long, the upgrades should be relatively even throughout the game, until the Terran hits 3-3, when the Zerg should be stuck on 2-2 for a little bit. As, ooh, these Hellions go the wrong way for a moment there, but quick reactions will keep them alive. Still nothing left in this game by Soul apart from a single Marine. And, of course, a couple of mules he lost as well, so you know, he's doing a good job of keeping these units alive, and it really does power up his pushes that much more. I don't know, now 4th and 5th barracks as 1-1 begins, and we'll probably go up to combat shields as well as a few few medevacs as well very soon. Minato chasing these Hellions, but he's going to take a lot of damage in the process, and I'm not too sure if this is worth chasing because he's losing a lot of Zerglings here to do this. He's currently 9 workers down. I mean, he's made this many lings, I suppose he may as well use them, but he's just losing them to Hellions when, you know, a lesser number of lings probably could have forced this away just as well. So I'm not too sure about that. Again, he's not really in the best situations in terms of economy right now. His lair's just finished. We don't see a Bane in there still. And we also do not see any tech. Ooh. Alright, so we're going to see an infestation pit coming down at the 3rd base to try and deny the scouting of it. And these Hellions will finally get surrounded here. Reaper and the Hellion just sitting in the back to try and do as much damage as they can before dying. So he will finally get them, and he's playing with this many lings because he wants to try and just go for very fast ultralisks and fast 2-2, fast 3-3. Oh wow, no defense over here at all for the 3rd base, and that's why keeping them Hellions alive is so important. I'm a bit surprised you know, Soul doesn't actually want to move out with this army. I think it's probably just about enough. That is a lot of Zerglings. He's probably just waiting for 1-1, and did have to lift his 3rd base there. A fair amount of damage being done, 13 worker kills, and that puts Minato 2 workers ahead in the game, and will continue to increase his economy now. Pathfinder Gland's on the way too, so it's not actually a rush to hive at all. He's just going to go Ling Infester. As we see the first move out here for Soul in this game. These Lings are going to come in, they're going to try and surround. I don't know, I mean the Marauders are in quite a nice position, they're in the front. And Soul cleans up the majority of these Zerglings, where in fact all of these Zerglings without any issues at all. And that was a lot of Zerglings to just lose like that. 128 Zerglings lost? Wow. You know, even upgrades, Terran Army, pretty good. Stim, he was a good position as well. He was sat against the wall. And he had the Marauders really tanking a lot of the damage while the Marines sat behind and dealt the damage. And thinking about moving forward a little bit more now, but just not going to commit to that just yet. As a few more Lings being sent up to try and set off the mines. But just not quite doing anything. Oh, nice. Very quick reaction there. Splits away from the Infester. And that one Infester does go down. Now Lings are going to start coming in here with these units split up. Another Infester goes down. Throws some Infester Terrans. But not really the best of situations to actually lose 2 Infestors here early on. The 3rd Infestor is now out, but I mean, it's a lot of his army to lose, a lot of his expensive units as well, which units he wants to to just sit back and gain energy with. So these medevacs are going to be dropping, and Soul just keeps on building an army, adds on a few more barracks. And really ramps his play. In fact, he's only been on 5 barracks up until now. He maybe could have done with a couple more before. Minato with his creep spreading overload over here. It looks as though this drop was spotted very, very easily. Some Lings already left behind. But look at this, really nice positioning. You're going to just drop on this little ledge and pick off whatever you can. Infestor tries to come forward, but can't really realistically achieve anything here. Throws down a fungal. Doesn't really catch anything too much. Some more fungals continuing to come down as he tries to clean this up. And this is the problem with not having mutalisks, because this is actually a really abusive spot where he can just keep on lifting up. He now drops his Marauder up here to stim in and pick off the Queen. Drop over here, looking as though it's not doing too much either. No workers killed, and it's being denied. Soul has opened himself up a huge advantage in this game. He's currently 30 supply up, Now, an Ultra Cavern is on the way for his opponent as well, so that's something we've got to remember here, but he does see the Hive, and he knows that's finished. It means he can begin to add on more Marauders into his composition, or just try and end the game before them Ultras come out. As you can see, I mean, without Banelings, his opponent has to fight with pretty much just pure Lings, and they do have 2-2 against 1-1 for now. But the Infestors are out of energy, and in fact there's not even any Zerglings on the map here to defend, and Soul looks as though he may very well just break through. And this third base, I think, is going to fall. This drop has been cleaned up in the main. Some more Zerglings coming forward here. There's just not the energy on the Infestors to throw down the fungal growths he kind of needs to clean this army up. Reinforcements coming in from behind. The Infestors are just move commanded into the army. GG, well played. Bratz is called, and Soul takes the victory, and MaxFlo give Cascade a pretty bad start to the season of 1-4 loss for Cascade. Last season's second place finishers, and yet now they're going to be sitting pretty near the bottom of that table in the first division, Group A. Wow, wow, wow. In Group A, I actually think they're in Group B, but either way, congratulations to MaxFlo. 4-1 victory. What a great way to start the season against a team which really a lot of teams will say these are one of the toughest teams in the competition here. Alien Invasion, they're good. My Insanity, they're good. You know, they're the teams which have a few Koreans mixed in. Past that, when we're into the purely European teams, Cascade are probably the top team in here, especially with last season's result. A lot of teams will think that, and for MaxFlo to take the victory 4-1, an outstanding start to the season for them, and they'll probably be looking to keep that up throughout the season, of course. Who do they play next week? Let's have a little look here. So they're in Group B. They'll go second in the table right now. Alien Invasion with an all-kill will be just above them. Next week, MaxFlo will actually play against Vegas Squadron, which is actually probably another one of the toughest matches in the group. I mean, Vegas Squadron, very, very strong. Last season had a great run in the bracket as well. So, wow, MaxFlo, they have a tough opening, couple of weeks. But this has been a fantastic start for them. Cascade, they lose here today, they're going to have to regroup for next week, and next week they're going to have to give it their all because they play against Alien Invasion. And realistically, we really could see Cascade sitting at the bottom of the table with an 0-2 by the end of next week, because Alien Invasion are a damn good team. Next up, guys, we do have a match from the First Division Group A. It's going to be Missing in Action against AT Gaming. The last time these guys met was just a few weeks ago in the SC2 Improved Team League Season 1 playoffs. In the round of 8, Missing in Action squeezed ahead of AT Gaming with a 4-3 scoreline. So this match is probably going to be a pretty darn good one as well. Who is going to be coming out ahead in week number 1? We're going to be finding out here in just a few minutes time. We're going to run some ads. We've got 10 minutes until the start of Missing in Action versus AT Gaming. So live with that as soon as it starts. So we're just going to run some music until then, guys. MaxFlo win against Cascade 4-1. Missing in Action versus AT Gaming up next in just a few moments.